Right, my name is Pauline Rawle, born and bred in Leicester, and I live and work as a nurse, senior nurse in the community. I'm a mother of 3 children, well, 2 boys who are now in their 20s and a daughter who's nearly 18, so not quite children but sort of adult age. And I love sports, love people, and like socialising. Wow. Gosh. Through Zumba and fitness work, I started going to a class, it's probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And Z has been a great inspiration to me. And I used to play netball for about 40 years, I'd say. And I decided to stop playing netball, but I wanted something else to challenge me. And I just happened to come across Zfit and started attending her classes and haven't looked back. Certainly very extremely challenging, but great for fitness and also great for sort of socialising and also networking. So yeah. Gosh, strength. I personally think strength is a physical as well as an emotional, spiritual, psychological sort of, it's a holistic concept for me, because even if I'm physically strong but emotionally or mentally I'm not, then I wouldn't consider myself strong. So for me it's about being a holistic being, not just one particular element or another. It's like you could put a lovely face of makeup on and appear to be really strong with it, but actually emotionally you're not. So for me, strength is a spiritual, physical, emotional and psychological. Resilience means to me, I think for me, being resilient is about having an inner strength. It's about being able to overcome barriers that perhaps ordinarily you wouldn't be able to. And it's about defying perhaps what other people would expect you to achieve or not to achieve. So for me, it's about giving yourself that extra inner push and having resources to draw upon to be able to overcome whatever barrier it is that you're actually facing. I've had to be resilient all of my life, growing up from being a black girl in Leicester City in the 70s wasn't an easy place to be racially. And also choosing a career pathway, at school you're told you perhaps can't achieve much because you can't do O levels because you're not able, for whatever reason they deem you're not able because they put you in a category or a box, but then you have to still look beyond that to actually achieve what you want to achieve in life. So even though there have been lots of obstacles, I still think I've had to draw upon perhaps my inner strength as well as resources around me, family, friends, my church, to actually draw strength and courage to be able to go for the things that I really, really want to in life, against odds and all the expectations. Yeah. Wow. To be honest with you, when this opportunity came up and we needed a male, I actually thought of my nephew Mark, who you'll interview next, because I've watched him grow up, and his mum is my sister, so she's raised him and his brother single-handedly, and it hasn't been easy for them. He's become a professional footballer and gone through the whole process of playing for different clubs and having to come back down again to the real world when the career was over. And again, that takes tremendous strength and resilience and courage. He's had his ups and downs, but I just admire him, because I'm proud of him as well because I'm his auntie and I think he's wonderful. But I just think he's just amazing, and he just keeps going. And considering he's not had perhaps his own father figure, which I'm sure he'll tell you about, but he's just the most amazing hands-on father, that I could admire or see in action. He's never stopped being a really, really good father to his son as well, which I really, really admire. A lot of men, for whatever reason, take a back seat and perhaps don't want to parent their children, but he goes the extra mile of the way, and I admire him for that. I'm really, really proud of him. I don't tell him very often, but I am very proud of him. I have needed resilience and strength, I think, most of all through parenting. My sons are 27 and 25 now. And when I was doing my degree, I did a degree in community health studies, and I went to university when they were 8 months old and 2.5. And I had to get through a degree course whilst parenting and bringing them up. And then I had an extra element which was very challenging, which was their diagnosis. Both boys throughout that course were diagnosed with autism and learning difficulties, so it was having to navigate my way through all the consultant appointments, trying to push to get a diagnosis. Then once having a diagnosis, actually, well, what does this mean now? What resources can I get for them to make sure they have the best education, the best chances in life? So I think that combination of being married and doing a degree and parenting children with special needs has been perhaps one of the most challenging areas, I think, in my life, and the most protracted, because it isn't a quick fix. I haven't been perhaps as strong as I would have liked to have been, perhaps through the marriage and having to go through all of the sort of parenting issues and the disappointments that come along with parenting children with autism, because a lot of things aren't your own. For example, you take sleep for granted, and when you're parenting children who have no concept of day or night, your sleep isn't your own, but you still have to go to work the next day. And I think sadly through that whole process you almost feel sleep deprived as a result of trying to work, parent and function, and I perhaps didn't feel as well supported as I should have been through that time, and I think I definitely wasn't as strong in myself, and I think I got quite ill, felt quite stressed, sleep deprived, tired, disillusioned, and so I don't feel as though I was at my best during that time when the children were a lot younger, sort of primary school ages. Definitely wasn't very, very strong. But I kept going to a degree, but it wasn't an easy time. I think for me, I've got a Christian faith, and so for me, even if I haven't got friends, family, anybody around, I always draw my strength from the Bible and prayer and taking time out to reflect, because I found that lots of people would let you down during your lifetime. People come and people go in your life, but I do find the one constant is my faith. Even when I've doubted and perhaps I haven't been as faithful or as good as praying and reading my Bible as often as I should, I felt as though the presence of God has always been with me, and His grace has always been there, and His forgiveness. So even though I've perhaps done things that weren't what I should have been doing at the time, or I felt discouraged, I always feel as though God's love has always kept me, and He's always been there to forgive and also to walk with me, a bit like an invisible partner. So yeah, certainly my faith is definitely key that keeps me going through all the highs and lows. Yeah, I think support-wise, I remember having some counselling, whereas the person wasn't actually giving me any advice, like, do this, do that, but it was just a safe space to actually offload all your emotions. Sometimes I'd go and I'd just be so upset, or I'd be irate, or I'd be angry, and it was just a safe space to be able to say, right, here's all my rubbish today, I'm going to put it down, and I'd feel better for offloading. So whilst it wasn't direct sort of advice, it was great having a safe space to offload, so that helped me emotionally. I've also had advice from certainly my sisters. My eldest sister is key. She's a very, very strong person, and there have been times when she has just upfront, you need to do this, you need to do that, and I'd be like, I'll think about it, but actually her advice has been so key and so right. She's a lifesaver, I would say. So there are times when she's very strong with, I think you should do this and do it now, and she wags her finger, and I resist her advice at first, but actually she's right. I think strength and resilience is something that I've experienced throughout my youth, in particular, especially in the Afro-Caribbean community, because in the sort of 60s, 70s, when my parents first came here and settled, and we were all finding our feet, getting to know each other, we were literally like a community, and we had to stick together. And so it was normal, for example, to walk down the street and acknowledge an elder, say hello, even if you didn't know them by name. So I think I've drawn a lot of strength from the local community. And likewise, when it comes to sort of parenting, family, we don't sort of keep ourselves to ourselves. We are a community, and we will raise each other's children, if you like. So the community means a lot. It definitely means a lot. And I think we've helped to develop each other, support each other. Even now, people will come to me and say, can I have some advice about careers? I'm a nurse, I'm struggling, I want to go up the ladder, but I don't know how to. So we do tend to sort of reach out and look after each other, because we haven't had that in the past. No one sort of helped us, as it were, so we try and help each other. Yeah, I think my health is connected to my resilience and strength, because for me, my health and well-being is supported obviously by my spiritual well-being, but exercise is really key for me, and I train a lot, several times a week, and it gives me that sense of well-being, that sense of achievement. It's almost like a medicine to my physical body as well as to my soul and to my happiness. And even if I can't run, I'll go for a walk and just take in the trees and listen to the birds singing. And yeah, I'm a bit of a tree hugger anyway, so I tend to, people go, oh, where are you going on holiday? I'm like, I sit in my back garden and just look at the flowers. I'll be happy doing that. So for me, being outdoors, being active, appreciating the environment around is really, really key, definitely.